Hello everyone, welcome to the third lecture of the discussion on normalization in DBMS. Now, in the previous two video, we have learned about what is normalization and we have discussed how to decompose a relation to its BCNF form. Now, while we are discussing normalization, I have mentioned that a normalized relation should be attribute preserving, dependency preserving, and lossless. So, in this video, we are going to discuss about the dependency preservation and lossless decomposition. So, first of all, what is the purpose of normalization? To reduce the redundancy, and by reducing the redundancy, we are going to remove the update anomalies present in the relation. So, when we are decomposing, we should ensure that all the functional dependencies are present in the decomposed table, and that is called a dependency preservation. So it is expected that the relation generated by decomposition preserve the basic functional dependencies. If we go by the definition, if a relation R with set of functional dependency F is decomposed into relation R1, R2, R3 and Rn with the set of functional dependency F1, F2, F3 and Fn respectively, then we are going to call the decomposition as dependency preserving if F1 union F2 union F3 union Fn closure of this is equals to closure of F, which is the actual functional dependency present in the original relation R. So, how to find the decomposition is dependency preserving or not? So there is an algorithm. We are not going to discuss the algorithm in details right now. We are going to see some examples how we can check that our decomposition is functional dependency preserving or not. But keep in mind, this algorithm will take polynomial amount of time compute a decomposition is functional dependency preserving or not. So checking decomposition is functional dependency preserving is not a easy job. So let us take some example and see how we can determine decomposition is functional dependency preserving. So in our first example, let us take R is a relation with three attribute A, B and C, where the functional dependency set F is given by A determines B, B determines C and C determines A. Now, R is decomposed into two relation R1 with A and B attribute and R2 with B and C attribute. So, what is the functional dependency present in R1? It is A determines B, and in R2 we can write B determines C. Now, how we can check that it is dependency preserving? We need to consider the original functional dependency set that is present for the actual relation R and generate all the functional dependency present in the decomposed table. So here we can directly get A determines B, but if you look closer, you can see that B determines C and C determines A. So from these two functional dependency in the original set F, we can also write B determines A. Similarly, from here in R2, we have B determines C, and you can see that C determines A and A determines B. So using the transitive property on the actual functional dependency set F, we can write C determines B. So this will be my F1 and this will be my F2. We are not considering the trivial functional dependencies like A determines A, B determines A, in B determines B, and in here B determines B and C determines B. So if we perform F1 union F2, what we are getting? We are getting A determines B, B determines A, B determines C and C determines B. You can for the first look you can see that we are not directly getting C determines A. But using this one and this one means we are actually finding the closure of this one. So we are getting A determines B, C determines B determines C, C determines A, and all other functional dependencies will be there. Now you can see that in closure we are getting F and rest of the other functional dependencies. These three are actually present in F and rest of them will be present in the closure of F also. So you can say that F1 union F2 is closure is equals to F closure. So as this condition is true in this case, so we can say that the decomposition of R into R1 where R1 is AB and R2 where R2 is BC is decomposition preserving. So let us take another example. Here we have a relation R with A, B and C, A, B, C, D, 4 attribute where the functional dependency is given by A determines B, B determines C, C determines D and D determines B. So from here we can write that R1 is directly having A determines B, R2 is having B determines C and R3 using D determines B directly from the functional dependency set F. Can we get any more functional dependency in R1 using the original functional dependency set F? We cannot have any other than trivial functional dependencies. Like we cannot have B determines A because it cannot be determined from the functional dependency given in the F. So this is not possible. Now in case of R2, can we write C determines B? Yes, we can write because B determines C and C determines D and D determines B. So using the transitive functional dependency, we can write C determines B. In R3, we can have B determines D by using B determines C, C determines D. So by using the transitive functional dependency, we can also write B determines D. So this is my F1, this is my F2 and this is my F3. So if we perform F1 union F2 union F3, then we are getting A determines B, B determines C, C determines B, D determines B and B determines D. Now, which is the missing functional dependency present in F but not in this union? That is C determines D. But using this two functional dependency, we can write C determines D. So in F1 union F2 union F3 closure, we are going to have all the functional dependency present in F and some more functional dependencies. So we can write this one, the left hand side is equals to the closure of the functional dependency set, original functional dependency set F. And as this is true, so our decomposition of R into R1 with AB, R2 with BC and R3 with BD, dependency preserving. So in our example 3, we have a relation R with the attribute A, B, C and D where the functional dependency is given by AB determines C, C determines D and D determines A. The relation R is decomposed into the relation R1 with the attribute A, B and C and R2 with the attributes C and D. If you look closely, the normal form of the decomposition is Boyce-Codd normal form or BCNF. Now, what is the functional dependency present in R1? It is AB determines C and in R2 it is C determines D. Can we get any more functional dependency in R1? There is no functional dependency present in R1 other than the previous one. Similarly, in R2, we cannot get any more functional dependency other than the trivial functional dependency. So this is my F1 and this is my F2. You can see that F1 union F2, closure of this one will not give me the closure of F because we are not able to get D determines A, this functional dependency, using F1 union F2 closure. So as this is not present, so we can say that this decomposition is not dependency preserving. And as I have already told you that this decomposition is in BCNF, from here we can conclude that BCNF does not ensure that the decomposition will be dependency preserving, whereas the third normal form or 3NF ensures that the decomposition will be dependency preserving. So let us discuss about the lossless decomposition. Lossless decomposition, it is basically tells that if we decompose a relation into some smaller relation, and if we perform the natural join of the smaller relation, we should get the same result as the original relation. By definition, it says that let a relation R is decomposed into smaller relation R1, R2, R3 and Rn, then the decomposition is said to be lossless if natural join of all the generated relations yield the original relation. So R1 natural join R2, natural join R3, natural join Rn will be equals to R. Let a relation is decomposed into two relations R1 and R2. So it is basically a binary decomposition. So if R1 natural join R2 is a subset of R, then the decomposition is lossy. And if R1 natural join R2 is equals to R, then the decomposition is lossless. In lossy decomposition, after natural join, some tuples can be excluded or extra tuples can be generated with respect to the actual relation. Now, after relation natural join, tuple present in the resultant relation is more than the tuple present in the actual relation, then the extra tuples are called spurious tuple. In case of binary decomposition, if two relation R1 and R is decomposed into R1 and R2, to check for lossless decomposition using the functional dependency set, the following condition must be true. There are three conditions. The first one is union of attribute of R1 and R2 must be equal to the attribute of R. The first condition is basically tells you about attribute preservation in decomposition. So each attribute of R must be either in R1 or in R2. So mathematical in set form we can say that attribute of R1 union attribute of R2 is equals to attribute of the original relation R. The second point says that intersection of attribute of R1 and R2 must not be null. So in simple word, there should be a common attribute or a set of common attribute in R1 and R2. So attribute of R1 intersection R2 not equals to null. And the third one tells that common attribute must be a key. Key means a super key for at least one relation for R1 or either for R1 or for R2. So in set form we can say that attribute of R1 intersection attribute of R2 may determines all the attributes of R1, or attribute of R1 intersection attribute of R2 may determines all the attribute of R2. So the common attribute between R1 and R2 should be a super key of either R1 or R2. So these three conditions need to be checked when we are going to check that binary decomposition is lossless or not. So, and this condition can be extended to more than binary decomposition also, but the process will get much more difficult to determine that one, or that we are having a separate algorithm. So let us take some examples. Example 1, we are having one relation R with the attribute A, B, C and D, where the functional dependency is given by AB determines C and C determines D, and it is decomposed into R1 with the attribute AB and R2 with the attribute C and D. So attribute of R1 union attribute of R2 is giving me attribute of R. So the first condition has been satisfied. Now for the second condition, the attribute of R1 intersection attribute of R2 is a null set because there is no common attribute present in R1 and R2. As the second condition is not satisfied, then we can say that the decomposition will be a lossy decomposition. So this is a lossy decomposition. Now take the example 2, where the same relation with the same functional dependency is decomposed into relation R1 with the attribute A, B and C, and R2 with C and D. So you can see that the first condition has been satisfied over example 2 also, and the second condition ATT R1 intersection ATT R2 is giving me the attribute C. So it is not null. So the second condition is also satisfied. So next we need to check for the third condition. So what is the common attribute over R1 and R2? That is C. So the third condition says that the C should be a super key of any one of the relation. How we can find that? As C determines D and in the second relation C and D is present, so we can say that for the relation 2, C is a super key. As C is the super key in R2, so my condition ATT R1 intersection ATT R2 determines R2. This condition is satisfied. As the third condition is also satisfied, so we can say that this decomposition is loss. Now the example 3 is similar to our example, this example of the dependency preserving. Now we have already proved that this decomposition is not dependency preserving. Now let us check, is this a lossless decomposition or not. Now here the relation is with A, B, C and D, and the functional dependency set is given by AB determines C, C determines D and T determines A, where it is decomposed into A, B, C, and the second relation is C, D. Or we have already seen in the example 2 that it also satisfies all the three conditions of lossless decomposition. So we can say that it is a lossless decomposition, but we have seen that it is not a dependency preserving decomposition. It is in BCNF also. So from this we can conclude that BCNF always generates a lossless decomposition, but it does not ensure the dependency preservation, whereas the 3NF generates a lossless decomposition with preserving the functional dependency. If you have to trade off between dependency preservation and a lossless decomposition, you must go with the decomposition which is lossless, right? So it is not always possible that the decomposition will be dependency preserving, but we must ensure that the decomposition is lossless. Now let us come to the example number 4, and after that we are going to end this lecture. Here you can see that it is not a binary decomposition. The rules of checking lossless decomposition for binary decomposition, we can identify that the relation, the relation present in example 4 is a lossless decomposition. You can see that the attribute of R1 union attribute of R2 union attribute of R3 is giving me all the 4 attributes present in R, and the common attribute, that is the intersection of attribute of R1, R2 and R3, is B, and in the relation 2 B determines C, so B can be a super key for the R2. So in R2 B is the super key, and as B is the super key and which is a common attribute between R1, R2 and R3, so the third condition is also satisfied. Finally, we can say that the decomposition of R into R1, R2, R3 in this form is a lossless decomposition. Now, as it is a small decomposition, it is easy to find that, and there is a common attribute between all the 3 decomposed table. It is easy to find that, but when the decomposition is into more numbers of relation and there may not be any common attribute between all the decomposed table, then this process will not work. For that we have an algorithm, and we are going to discuss the algorithm in our next video. So thank you. See you in the next video.